Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our evening Shabbat class. Close out the Sabbath, the 27th of January 2024. We're going to be dealing with the video that I played this morning, that Esau is not the white man. So we're going to play that and go in a little deeper than what we did this morning. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have a lot of videos on over 800 videos that you can check out. If you like what you're hearing and receiving on these videos, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, it'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to support the channel and help me move on, you can. We got our cash app at the bottom of the screen. Okay. So with that being said, well, hours of operation is Monday to 1 minute. Okay, so with that being said, excuse that little interruption, but with that being said, our hours of operation is Tuesday nights. We have our advanced Bible study with everybody, men and women, and then it's 8 to 10 Central Time. Wednesday nights we have our reading through the Tanakh. That's from 8 to 10 Central Time. Then we come back for our women's advanced Bible study on Thursday nights. Same time, 8 to 10 Central Time. Then we have our men's advanced Bible study on Friday nights from 8 to 10, but it's on Clubhouse under non-Messianic conversation. And we have 2 Shabbat classes, one in the mornings from 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we come back like we're doing right now with, from 6 to 7 and close the Shabbat out. Okay. So with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel for those that don't know. And by that we mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to the channel and welcome to our evening Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We do an evening Shabbat prayer, Psalms, and then we do some current events. Don't need to know information, and we'll open it up for some Q&A. Then we go into our topic. Esau is not the white man. Okay. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. We come before you at this hour on the day that you have given us for your Shabbat, praising you and honoring you because of your position both in heaven and upon the earth, position in which Creator Yahweh have given unto thee. Lord, we pray unto thee that you continue to let your light shine down upon us in spirit and in truth. And we love you and we seek you daily O Lord, and there is none else besides thee to redeem us. We see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, we'll read the Psalms. Okay. Somebody want to volunteer to read the Psalms, or do I have to read it? Okay, I'll read it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna read Psalms 77. Who is so great a God as our God? This is a psalm of Asaph. I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My soul ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God, and I was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah, thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. Will the Lord cast off forever, and will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean gone or forever? Does his promise fail forevermore? Have God forgotten to be generous, to gracious? Have he in anger shut up his tender mercies? Selah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of my right hand, of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Should I remember thy wonders of old? I will meditate also of all the works, the talk of doings. The way of God is in the sanctuary. Who is great? A God is our God. Thou art the God that doeth wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah, the waters saw thee, O God, and the waters saw thee. They were afraid. The depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out for water. The skies sent out a sound. Thine arrows also went abroad. The voice of thy thunder was in the heavens. The lightning lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Okay, so that was Psalms 77, and I want to shine a light on the last verse. It says, after all the things he said about him, Lord of hosts, in verse 20 says, thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So right here, when you understand what's going on, you can see this is not Yahweh. But he giving us characteristics, and most people would think this is God, but it says in 14, thou art the God that doeth wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Then we see the waters saw thee, O God. The waters saw thee. They were afraid. The depths also were afraid. It takes you to Genesis chapter 1 and verses 2, when it says that the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. That's the angel. An angel of God moved upon the waters. Then 18 says, the clouds poured out water. The skies sent out a sound. It's the flood. And thine arrows also went abroad. The voice of thunder was in the heavens. Lightning lit the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea. Right? It takes you back to Genesis 1 and 2. And thy path is in the great waters, and thy footsteps are known. And then it's let you know it's not Yahweh. It says, thou leadest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. And we know in Exodus chapter 23 and 20, he tells us He's sending an angel to lead them. And so we see it right here. Thou leadeth thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So this angel, Lord host. Any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna do these current events. So we can do a little meeting, no information. Okay.
Lord, city council members and immigration advocates blasting Mayor Eric Adams and his administration for implementing a policy that evicts migrant families with children.
We're still getting thousands of migrants and asylums who are coming here. And so we want to give clear messages on what's expected. The overwhelming number of people who are there, they want to take the next step in the American dream. But you do have a numerical minority that we want to give clarity to, that you can't come into our systems and be disruptive and in the neighborhoods.
More than 80% of New Yorkers say that the recent migrant influx is a serious problem.
When migrants first came to sanctuary cities, Democrats rolled out the red carpet. They pitched them wedding tents, filled them with recliners, popcorn machines, Xboxes. Leaders of sanctuary cities campaigned on the issue and boasted about all the illegals they'd let in.
Protect our immigrants. During the COVID, our immigrants stayed. They provided a service for the city, and I believe we need to continue to make sure this is a sanctuary city.
But house guests can only stay for so long before getting on your nerves. The migrants are now causing trouble in the communities that were forced to take them in.
Here's the brutal, honest truth that you need to hear, but probably don't want to. If you're not
dozens of migrants refusing to leave this hotel in Midtown Manhattan. This Venezuelan man saying he's tired and cold, questioning if this is the harsh reality of the American dream.
In New York City, where officials tell us resources are overwhelmed. Across public hospitals in New York City over the last year, nearly 30,000 visits by migrants and 300 new babies born to migrant moms. Staff here at Bellevue Hospital tell us they're eager to help, but the numbers are tough.
This has been the hardest work that I've ever done, but it's been the most impactful work that I've ever done.
And most of the visits to the taxpayer-funded legal clinic here are by migrants.
Our clinics are full, and there are waiting lists, and people are turning people away or referring them to other places.
Randy Redkin from New York's Legal Assistance Group says so many migrants are asking for legal help on asylum representation and healthcare access. Now, she says, American citizens who need legal assistance with issues like eviction and insurance have to wait up to 10 weeks.
If you ask me, do we need more resources for legal services? I would say absolutely yes.
Parents in Brooklyn outraged after the city decided to use their kids' school to house migrants who had to be evacuated from the Floyd Bennett field.
What happened last night at Madison High School is a perfect example of what not to do. These kids and their families were punished for the failure of Joe Biden to secure our border. It is unacceptable that our schools have to accept migrants and cancel school for students who are supposed to go to school and learn every single day. Look, I think this is on the mayor's administration. I think that they've opened up the door and really rolled out the red carpet for illegal immigration here when they said, we're welcoming all immigrants, and we do welcome immigrants, but you have to do that legally. And now that they've done this, they have to come up with a plan that doesn't affect our local students, our families, our residents, our constituents, New Yorkers. This is not sustainable. It's unacceptable. We're about to spend $12 billion on this crisis.
So because of the cold weather, there's been a lot of attention on migrant families who are being evicted from local shelters after 60 days.
Exactly, Steve and Teresa. As everyone knows, it has been freezing out here, and this new policy that evicts migrant families with children after 60 days has been in place for almost 2 weeks. Now, behind me, you can see the Roosevelt Hotel. This has been serving as a welcome center for newly arriving migrants, and now the reticketing center for migrant families with eviction notices.
Our mayor is a slumlord.
City council members and immigration advocates blasting Mayor Eric Adams and his administration for implementing a policy that evicts migrant families with children after 60 days. If these families cannot find their own housing within that time, they have to return to the Roosevelt Hotel and reapply for shelter. While a similar policy for single adult migrants has been in place for several months, this new recent policy change that now impacts migrant families with children has many, including the city council speaker, pushing back against the mayor.
I urge the mayor to abandon this counterproductive and cruel tactic and instead pursue more sound management.
Last week, the administration amended this policy so that pregnant migrants in their third trimester and women with newborn babies will not receive eviction notices until their babies turn 6 months old. In response to the rally, the Adams administration says they've had to make these drastic policy decisions because they are out of room and resources to care for such a large number of migrants, calling again for a federal solution. More than 170,000 migrants have received care since the spring of 2022, and 68,000 migrants are currently being housed by the city. Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala disagreed with the mayor that the city is out of room.
I've been in meetings where I have been told directly that one of the motives for this policy is really to make people uncomfortable enough. So I don't believe that the mayor is being honest.
Advocates also say that moving kids around to different shelters disrupts their education, with some kids being forced to bounce around to different schools.
They have not been getting all the help this administration claims they've been giving them. These human beings are being moved from shelter to shelter. Shelter staff have lost their mail and say that since they moved, they had to return their mail to sender. These are life-changing documents.
Now, according to a recent Siena College poll that came out this morning, more than 80% of New Yorkers say that the recent migrant influx is a serious problem.
In 2000
Okay, any comments on that? Okay. Let's see what we get.
Are we looking at a new civil war?
25 Republican governors are backing him, including, as you zoom in on Oklahoma, there he is, Kevin Stitt.
Tensions between Texas and the Biden administration have reached a boiling point as the Lone Star State continues to defy an emergency injunction from the Supreme Court and block federal border agents into the state to cut razor wire it's been installing over the past few weeks.
For us, for Oklahomans, I think for most Americans, this is just common sense. In Texas, there's 28 ports of entry, and it's already a federal law that it's illegal to enter anywhere but those points of entry. I mean, the last time I flew to Mexico, I had to land at an airport and show them my passport. And so the fact that the federal government, Biden, is cutting razor wire, it just makes no sense at all. And so, yes, we have the right to defend our country against invasion. And what else would you call it if you've got 6 million people coming through illegally?
We had some updates on the crisis at the southern border, an immigration deal drafted by Senator Chuck Schumer and James Lankford seems dead on arrival in the House as congressional Republicans balked at what they saw as another mass amnesty bill.
The Supreme Court has issued an emergency injunction allowing Border Patrol agents to cut wire Texas had installed along the border near a popular crossing at Eagle Pass. Litigation continues over other Texas immigration policies, including floating barriers in the Rio Grande.
They wrote, "We stand in solidarity with our fellow governor, Greg Abbott, and the state of Texas in utilizing every tool and strategy, including razor wire fences, to secure the border. We do it in part because the Biden administration is refusing to enforce immigration laws already on."
So all of a sudden, when it gets close to the election and all that, these Republicans all of a sudden, they want to do something about the border. I mean, you disrespecting the president and his orders right here. Why you ain't disrespecting what back then when you first saw it happening? Now all of a sudden you want to disrespect it, what he doing? Okay.
On the books and is illegally allowing mass parole across America of migrants who entered our country illegally. But it wasn't just Republicans who backed Abbott's decision to buck the feds. Presidential hopeful RFK Jr. wrote, "Texas is right. Biden's failure to secure the border leaves states no choice but to take matters into their own hands. As president, I will end this humanitarian crisis once and for all. I will secure the border and destroy the business model of the drug cartels." So the Supreme Court had a 5-4 decision Monday that said Border Patrol agents are entitled to cut the razor wire. We know that last week 3 migrants, a woman and her 2 children, were stuck on the razor wire. They drowned. The claim was that, Border Patrol was going to cut the wire so that they would not be killed and drown, and the National Texas Guard, or the Texas National Guard, prevented them, the Border Patrol, from saving, these 3 migrants. And so it seems to me that the decision was made by the Supreme Court because handling migrants crossing the border is not something that should be met with, the death penalty. There should not be, a preventative measure from migrants entering the United States that could kill them. It seems reasonable to me, Amber. I'm sure you believe that there's something else going on here. Yes. You clue me in. You would be correct. Okay. So this case was basically just a stay of the ability of Border Patrol agents to cut the concertina wire pending further legal action. So basically there's a case that's coming before the 5th Circuit on February 7th that will actually hear the merits of the case as to whether or not Border Patrol trumps the state authority to control its own border. And Texas is arguing that under the Constitution, we have the right to prevent an invasion of our country. Greg Abbott has invoked the invasion clause, the emergency clause that gives him the authority to do this. So SCOTUS is not saying that Texas is wrong to put the wire up or that they can't put the wire up, but they're simply saying, pending this February 7th court case, we're going to allow the federal agents to come in and cut it if they so choose. Now, Texas, in response to that, is saying, you can come in and cut the wire, but we're basically not going to allow you access. So they're trying to find this loophole where they can skirt the Supreme Court's stay of the Fed's ability to cut the concertina wire pending this court case. Now, I would agree on technical terms that it shouldn't be a death sentence to cross the border illegally, but you could argue basically that any kind of physical barrier to people crossing the border illegally could potentially result in death. If you were to build a 10-foot wall, they're not coming here to take over the country. They're not coming here to intentionally wreak havoc and cause violence. This is not the kind of invasion that you would use that same word for Russia invading Ukraine. This is not an invasion. These are people coming to the United States to live, to work, to start a life. What they need is processing centers. So to have the National Guard of Texas and many residents of Texas say it seems that we're at war with the federal government because the federal government, the Supreme Court, which is majority conservative, ruled that they were allowed, the Border Patrol agents, to cut down razor wire that was killing migrants trying to cross. So as soon as the federal government said you can't kill Mexican immigrants coming to the United States or immigrants from Latin and Central America from coming to the United States, then they're at war. It's not, hey, you won't give us the processing money we need. There are a lot of migrants coming to the United States. It seems very clear from this line of thinking that they really do just want to kill migrants.
So this right here is a prime example of what I'm talking about as far as Esau controlling the narrative. You know just where to go when he want to distract you, or he got some hidden agenda. He know right where to go. Even with reparations, they got all these bullshit ass excuses why they can't do it. It's like this right here. Like I said, if you had such a problem with the immigrants and what you saw happening, this been going on since 3 years ago. But all of a sudden now, when it's time for the re-election, because you want Trump to be in there, because these Edomites is behind this, they setting the narrative. Now all of a sudden, everything is about the migrants and what needs to be done. These emergency plans got to come into place in order to stop what's going on. When the same thing going on today was going on 2 years ago, before the election came around. But you got, like I said, you got Negroes that went to their schools and got educated by them, fall right into this bullshit as a narrative, talking about this garbage. Just like I said, when JC been exposed. So to keep talking to them about JC when he garbage. Why would you keep on going around and that with a conversation with them about dumb stuff? It's crazy. But they use us, masses of us, just like this. You know, you wasn't talking about this before it happened, before it got to this point. Now all of a sudden you're talking about it. Okay, and everybody jumping in, everybody with a channel was talking about it like it's such a big major thing, but it's, you know, it's, like I said, it's ignorant. You could have been stopped it, just like reparations. You could have been paid reparations. You paid everybody else, but you got all these old talking points that you want to come up with now that you don't want to do something that you got a problem with because you're a redneck. Okay. Anybody got any comments?
Shalom. Yes, sir. So I think it was all set up by design because they knew Title 42 was ending and they knew it was going to be over 60,000 migrants coming up. So they just held them at bay, but they made it that Title 42 to end at this time, knowing that it's election time will be coming up. So that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Exactly. Right. And everybody was saying, I was listening to another podcast earlier today when they was talking about why is it that the migrant crisis is the way that it, I mean, is it biblical and all that? No, all they're doing is, like I said, they set this up because they lost in 2020, and they know everybody and their mama know that all these elections that's coming up from this point on going to be contentious. They're going to be close, so they setting the stage to embarrass the Democratic Party, and they did this right here with the migrants. These same 25, these same states, when the revolution, Civil War broke out, the last Civil War, the southern states, the rednecks, they doing this. They allowed all these, it's been migrants coming in here, but then all of a sudden, you take buses and send them to these other cities to cause drama, especially to the black folks. Now the black folks got a problem with Biden, with this administration. They fleeing toward Trump. They set it all up. And like I said, look where it's at now. We 10 months out, 10 months out from the time for the election. And they got all the black folks in an uproar, and they throw away the Democratic Party. This is how Esau work right here. You're pro at this. Okay. So with that being, nobody else have anything on that? Play this right here. This got to do with the decision that the criminal court made against Israel.
Here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
Yeah. You're going to hear a bunch of talking points about this.
International Court of Justice, the UN's highest court, has found a plausible risk Israel's committing genocide in Gaza and ordered provisional measures, but stopped short of calling for an immediate ceasefire. This is the president of the court, Joan Donoghue, reading out the vote of part of the ruling.
By 15 votes to 2, the state of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group.
Over a 1-hour ruling, the International Court of Justice President Joan Donoghue in The Hague quoted Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, saying that as the war got underway, Gallant had said, "We have removed all restraints. We will eliminate everything," referring to Palestinians as animals. Judge Donoghue continued. Gallant went on to describe Hamas as comparable to the Islamic State. After proceedings concluded today, the South African government said it welcomed the ICJ's decision. We're continuing with our guests right now. Diana Buttu, Palestinian human rights attorney in Haifa, Israel. Raz Siegel, Israeli historian and professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies, Stockton University, joining us from Philadelphia. And Mahmoud Mamdani, professor of government at Columbia University, specializing in the study of colonialism. Diana Buttu, if you can talk about what exactly the timetable is right now and the true level of enforcement that the ICJ or even the United Nations overall has. Go back to, using as a reference, your involvement with the 2004 decision where the ICJ ruled the separation wall that Israel built in the occupied territories illegal.
Well, let's first start with this particular case. I think it's important to keep in mind that just last week, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that nothing is going to stop him, not the ICJ, not the Hague, nobody is going to stop him, and that he's going to continue to pursue ahead. And of course, the reason he's doing this is in part because he is genocidal, and in large part because he knows that the minute that the attacks on Gaza are over, that his term in office is also over because of the internal dissent inside Israel. And the reason that this is important is because we haven't heard yet what what they've said, but judging by that, it means that they're going to ignore this ruling. And if they ignore this ruling, it then becomes imperative upon the member states to take this decision.
Yeah, so let's look at that. Like I was saying before, we got laws in place, supposedly, in America. So we got the president can put down laws. He got laws concerning the border and the barbed wire. He said, take the barbed wire down, take the wall down. Well, how in the hell can anybody else not do that and don't receive no repercussions? How can a governor in the United States even make a statement against that? That's crazy. Just like this guy, how you gonna say when you got supposedly got a criminal court and a world court and all this? How can you say nobody ain't gonna stop me? I'm gonna do what I want to do. How can you make that statement unless you know something that we don't know? That's what I say is insane. It's crazy.
Shalom, I agree with that because it doesn't make any sense. We have a president who's supposed to call all things, and how you just going to say that to the president of the United States?
Right, exactly. Right, it's when they feel like it. When Obama in there and these other, you can talk to them crazy, but it's you want to be strictly about a law and order when some redneck in there that you want in there like George Bush and all of them, you gonna know it's unlawful to disrespect the president. But now all of a sudden the president say one thing, but you out openly disrespect what he said and say you ain't gonna do it.
To the UN Security Council to have the ruling enforced at the Security Council level. And it becomes really a question of whether the United States is going to veto or abstain or what exactly it's going to do. I can tell you in terms of what happened in 2004, 2004 was a very different case. It was an advisory opinion. It wasn't a case of the same type. And in 2004, Israel took the exact same position, that it wasn't going to stop the construction of the wall. In fact, it accelerated it. And but part of that decision indicated that there are other states, third states, other countries that are also obliged to make sure that Israel upholds international law. And that was the part where the world failed. And out of that, this is where we saw the BDS, the boycott, divest.
So like I said, two examples. One happened a while back in history, and I think in the 70s, Muhammad Ali said they tried to get him to go to war. He said he ain't going to war. Well, put him in jail, right? And now they got this little white boy, I think his name's Tal Tal, T-A-L, Mick, something like that. Anyway, they put him in jail in Israel because he said he ain't fighting the army, and he refusing to be a part of the military, what they're doing to the Palestinians. So they put him in jail. But high ups, somebody like Netanyahu, they can go against the status quo, but ain't nothing happening. Ain't that something? Okay.
Yes, sir. That's not fair.
Right, and then, like I said, we just go for it. Crazy as hell. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A, questions or comments. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything from last week or this morning that you want to talk about, clear up, or whatever? Anybody have anything? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, we'll go to our topic within class. I'm gonna play this video again, and then we'll talk about it, go in a little deeper than we did this morning. Okay.
Hey guys, this is Jacoby of Jacoby Gems. Thank you for once again coming back home, family. For those of you that happen to be new here, I hope that you hear something today that will persuade you to stay. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. What are you waiting for? With that being said, let's jump straight into today's brief but informational video. I want to begin to talk about one of my videos that I'm going to link down below. When I began to meet an Edo woman of Nigeria, and out of her own mouth, she stated that her predecessor and confirmed would be indeed the biblical Esau. This woman looked a lot like me because I am part Choctaw Native American. Also, due to the fact that my Hebrew Israelite ancestors look a lot like my Choctaw Native American Edom ancestors. This brings us to one of the comments that was very jarring, which I am used to because a lot of you guys, frontal lobe is still yet to be developed. And I can completely understand that your brain is still moving around in your head. You're still reworking trauma. So you think that it's normal to come under people's videos when you haven't even opened up a book to do a lot of studying on your own, because some of you were codependent on just getting by in school. You never were really a good student. So I don't expect for you to be the best scholar biblically. Some of you are still spiritually asleep, like I was in 2018. Some of you still believe that Esau is the white man and that Negro only doctrines, and it's because your level of intellectual capacity has hit its mark. And a lot of this is due to the egotistical nature of which we operate in that keeps a lot of you stupid and unlearned and ignorant, because we bring ego to scholarship, and ego has no place in scholarship. I'm talking specifically to this Haitian man in my comments who's decreeing and declaring that Esau is the white man, and he's dropping scriptures to begin to try to prove it. And he even said out of his mouth that the word ruddy doesn't mean anything. Who are we to begin to dismiss the descriptive markers that was placed in the book for us to be able to identify people, places, and things, when the same Hebrew Israelites will use scriptures out of context to begin to say, see, look, it said that we were black and comely, to begin to prove that the identity of the Israelites are black. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's begin to talk about how the word red is important to Haitians. And I can talk about this because although I don't claim Haitian ancestry because I never met my great-great-grandfather, He was a Creole from Louisiana, which will lead me to Haiti. Well, how does this lead you to Haiti? My grandmother, my great-grandmother, when she looked at my son, and I told the story before, because my son is Creole complected, just like my mama. Like, it's a difference between being light-skinned and being yellow or being Creole complected. My great-grandmother was light-skinned. She was a yellow woman. My mother and my son are Creole complected. So when I brought my baby to meet my great-grandmother, and she looked at him and said, "Who white baby is this?" This is the same way she would describe her father. He was Creole. And we began to look at the Creole in Louisiana. Majority of them came from South Carolina, from Florida, into Louisiana, but they were coming from Haiti. And some of them came straight from Haiti. And we began to look at South Carolina and your Florida. This is where you get your Gullah Geechee people, right? And so we began to look at your Creole people and your Haitians. How do we prove that these are the same people? Because in Haiti, they have a saying in Creole and French Creole, because these are the Huguenots. Let's begin to talk about this. The fact that a lot of these people over in Haiti who are of lighter complexion, who you see now in the Dominican Republic, dealing with the colorism, they came over from France in the French Revolution. These were your free and some indentured Sephardic Jews and Moors who could pass at times, and some of them were fully complected. Then you also have from the transatlantic slave trade, where you had your West African, your Elephantine Jews coming over. So you had different incursions of different groups of Jews, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, coming into these places. The Haitians have a saying in Creole that identify them to be Igbos. And we know that the Igbos are known to be the tribe of Gad, and Gad operated as their own confederate. They broke off and they created a priesthood. And we see that the Arachuku of the Igbo had a dominant role in the transatlantic slave trade. There's a gentleman in my comments who is Igbo, and he said that Edo, E-D-O, in Igbo literally means yellow or red, and it is to describe the complexion of the other Igbo, because the caste system based on complexion was also in France and in Africa. It got brought over here into the Americas. We begin to look at amarillo. That's the Spanish word for yellow. And this is where the word Creole came out of. When you have a Edo Igbo, this is a red Igbo, a yellow Igbo, a Creole looking Igbo. So how can we begin to dismiss markers, Mr. Haitian man, when your people themselves use the word Edo to describe the yellow or the red, the ruddy Igbo amongst them? We have to stop denying history for what it is. This is a warning to those of you still identifying Esau as the day-to-day white man. You are in gross error and you will be deceived. The reason that some of the world Edomite appear to be white, but if you look at them, they have the big noses, the curly hair, they have the big bushy long beards. They still have Hebraic markers about them, just like when you look at the Sicilians and when you look at the Spaniards and when you begin to look at...
Yeah, that's what I was saying with Hitler. That's what Hitler was killing the Jews for. He said that they came into Europe, they brought Negroid features, Negroid genetics into Europe. So, like I said, when you understand that they followed their mother's lineage. So they took these Edomites, took their daughters into Europe and married into these dynasties, these and got that. That's why they follow the woman as the lineage. That's not what the Creator said. It was that you follow a man's lineage through. You follow a lineage through the man, but they follow through the woman because of what they're doing. And not only that, they got their height because of when they was dealing with those Horites. They got their height because of the Edomite man was marrying. Matter of fact, Esau married those Horite women. And that's how you get Amalek and Zephno and all them. They are giants. The lineage come from these giants because through the woman. That's why they follow the woman's lineage. But they in so many words, they was mulattoes. They had Negro features before they started going into Europe. And like I said, that's why Hitler was killing them. And that's why Hitler knew who the real Israelites was. Okay.
Some of the French and all of these other people with their big curly hair, but their phenotype appears to.
They're giving them to us, just like they did with the transatlantic slave trade. The Israelite woman got raped and molested and all that on the trip over here, even in the plantations, and had kids, but they gave them to us because of the Negro features, but they're not Israelites. And that's been done all over the world. Even look at how blue-black the Egyptian was. But you go over there now, the Egyptian, he's mulatto. They tell you that's the Egyptian. Okay?
Being non-Negro, they are still Israelites because of who they descend from. We have to remember that Edom married amongst Ishmael. Ishmael is a black Arabic man.
Mulatto.
We have to remember that Edom married against Canaan. Did not Canaan come out of Ham? Whether you want to believe that the person Canaan was a lighter skin. We have to remember these things. We have to remember that the Edomites were forcibly converted to the Jews' religion and the Hasmonean dynasty. We have to remember that the tribe of Dan, the Philistines, Tyre, Zidon, and Edom were seen together in conglomerates throughout history. Do not be ignorant, people of the Most High God. And then you argue instead of taking a pause to say, let me read these scriptures that she's sending. Let me click on these links that she's sending. Let me sit down and rewatch this video with notes, because as a student, what I do when I'm watching video, I'm taking notes in my phone. I'm pausing the video to research what's been said. I am checking for what it is that I believe and the research that I found to see if it be true, to see if I have any errors. I am even the type of student that if I hear something that I don't agree with, I go and study it to see if I'm wrong, to see if there's some knowledge that I can gain, because that's how hungry and thirsty for righteousness and for knowledge that I am, that I don't have to be right. I do not post videos unless I have thoroughly researched, because I know that I'm under the eye of scrutiny, because I know that my voice matters and people listen and they just believe anything without studying, without researching. And I will not be one of those that causes the sheep of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh to scatter. When we begin to look at Edom, Benin, that literally means red sun. Benin is a Portuguese word. Benai means sun in Hebrew. Edom means red. This cannot be denied. So are you going to tell the Edoma of Nigeria that they are not Edomites? Mr. Haitian man, are you going to tell the Igala of Nigeria that they are not Edomites? Are you going to tell the Idom of Nigeria that they are not Edomites? Are you going to tell these people who they are? Are you going to tell me as a Choctaw Native American woman that my Choctaw ancestors were not Syro-Phoenician, Hittite? And who do we know Edom to be? Are you going to tell the Creek and the Samoan and the Cherokee and the Arab that they are not Edomite blood, all because you want to give the Hebrew culture away to a Gentile. Woe, 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 and double woe. We have to begin to realize that Edom was located in Teman, and we know that Yemenite Jews are called Timanim because they were located in Teman as well. Where is Teman? This is all in the Arabian platform. The prophecy comes to Teman with the destruction, and Dedan. Dedan is in the desert. Where is Bozrah? B-O-Z-A-R-H. Bozrah. It's in Jordan. This is where these people come from, Mount Seir.
Right.
These are Hebraic people, and he was not birthed out looking like no white man. When I was younger, especially, I would get so red in the summertime, and before I even knew that it was Choctaw Native American, my big sister, who's a yellow complected woman, would look at me in the summertime and laugh and be like, "You got Indian in your blood. Look at how red you are. Your hair is so red."
Okay. So anybody got any comments on that? Anybody go back and do some research on that video or listen to it?
Shalom, I'll have to go back and listen to that and do my research.
Okay, I think they sent it out on the, Michelle sent it out on the, what they call it, the messenger. She sent it out, so yeah. Anybody else have any comments on it? Nobody have any comments? Okay, yeah, so if you go back and look at, I mean, I'm bedazzled that this is the end part of it because of the city she named Teman and she named Basra. Those are, Teman is the capital city of Edom. And so then she said they Hebraic people, they're not, they're Hebraic, but it's a difference in an Edomite and an Israelite. The Israelites came through Jacob. Jacob wrestled with the angel. He changed his name to Israel, so he's dealing with the Israelites. He only have the Lord of hosts not dealing with Edomites. He's dealing with Israelites, children of Jacob, not children of Esau. So then I mean, go back to the phenotypes. We don't. It's no yellow. You don't get yellow and brown is in reddish brown ain't the same color. Ain't the same. You get yellow from a mixture. Like the Most High said, don't mix. But you got a man that's brown, reddish brown, that the Creator made. Like I said, the Egyptians. You go to look on the tomb of the Egyptians. They tell you the story from the beginning. What kind of man was on earth? They show you a man, a dark-skinned man, blue black, which is put in the African. Then you had the brown, the dark brown skinned man, reddish brown. That's Israelite. Then you had Tamahu, which was a white man. Then you had the one that was mixed. Those are the 4 men that's all plastered all over the walls, all over the tombs, all over everything in Egypt. So the yellow man, that's an admixture. Just like the Indian. You got the Indian before Mansa Musa, the guy that was the king that was in the Mali Empire that came with the 2,000 ships. They came here with people already here. And that's who the red man was, which is, like I said, the Chinese, the Asian man mixed with the people that was already here. That's how you get the Indian. Then the people from the Mali Empire came here and they start intermingling with them. That's where you get the Negroid features from. So that's all admixtures. That's not what the Most High, Lord of hosts, created in the garden in the beginning. And that the man Adam in Genesis, that red ain't the same red that she talking about. When you talk about the Indian, it ain't the same red. We can go right now and look at you see people right now in Africa and here in America that's brown, dark brown skin. They can get black if they get in the sun, but they dark brown skinned. You can't get no admixture. You get everything but that. You can't get no admixture where you get that color man because he came about. His phenotype is the Creator made him. Right. That's how they go. So you can't. A Creole ain't no dark brown skinned.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was saying you're correct on that, right? So after watching this video and really paying attention to this sister, right? She done a lot of internet research, right? That anybody can do and bring to the screen and try to break it down, right? And she talked about biblical scholars, okay? But I did not hear her present one scripture to back up anything that she was saying. Even in the about section in her comments, she did not list any scripture. So this is a sister that think that she has arrived since 2018, as she said, and she has came into a truckload of information that she is dispersing, but she is not doing it in the right content. This is a time where we need to be connected to scripture, not your Google research. You know what I'm saying? Which that is exactly, what she was doing. So this goes back a little bit, and I think you may have played it a month or so ago, where the sister was breaking down on TikTok about who the Lord of Hosts was, right? And she spoke on that, and she was breaking down scriptures and connecting that because of what she heard somewhere else. But then when you go to her bio, she states that she believes in JC because she is his beloved wife, right? And she's here to show us the way. So therefore, you got to look at that and say, she's doing all of this for likes.
Right.
Exactly. So which one is it?
Exactly. Right. And you don't, like I said, you don't see that nowhere in the scripture where no yellow man. And especially in the Genesis in the beginning, you don't see no yellow. You don't see nobody no yellow man. So that's, like I said, that comes from admixtures. That's how you get all these people that come about. It came about from disobedience. People mixing somewhere they had no business mixing there. And then we can even go back and say they could have mixed, but the Israelite man couldn't mix. He couldn't do all that. But it was all fine and dandy for Esau, even though he was raised by Abraham, Jehoshaphat. Japhet. All them. There's no laws restricting them from intermingling outside of their nationality. But the Israelites got laws and statutes on him because of who we are. He says that we are a holy seed, a holy race. So in order to stay a holy race, you got to marry within your race. So that's how that goes. So that's not even, like I said before, that's the purpose of reason why you see me going over scriptures and coming back and reversing and backing over and doing them over again, because when you get the foundation down and get something up, get it laid out the way it's supposed to be, somebody can't come and shake rattle your cage like that. She like I said, you blatantly coming out with Basra and you coming out with Teman. Well, if you understood that, you know that Teman And Basra is those capital cities in Edom that the Most High got a problem with. Let me get an example of that right quick. So when he mentioned these places, it's nothing favorable about it. So they ain't no Israelites. So the one of them is in Isaiah 63. Let me read that. Okay. Isaiah 63. Okay. It says in Isaiah 63, verse 1, it's the day of the Lord's vengeance. So judgment is going. He's judging somebody. So that ain't good. So who is this? He asked the question. Who is this that coming from Edom? That's Edom, Esau, with dyed garments from Basra. See that? That's a capital city in Edom. There ain't nothing good about that. So he says that this is a glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red? See that? Red, not yellow. Red, or Creole, not Creole. Red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the winepress. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I would tread them in my anger. See that? Got a problem with them. For I would tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So this ain't nothing good about this, right? So let's look at it. Let's go to another one. So that was Basra. That's, like I said, that's one of the capital cities in Israel. I mean in Edom. And we're gonna go to Obadiah, dealing with Teman, which is the capital city of Esau, or the Edom. Just like Jerusalem is to Israel, Teman is to Edomites. So you get it, Obadiah. Yeah, here you go. So it says, I'm gonna start at verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord God concerning Edom. They go Edom, right? We have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathens, thou art greatly despised. Somebody got to mute their mic. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. It's talking to Edom. If these came to thee, the robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came unto thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau sought out? How are his hidden things sought up? Well, one of the things is, that's him. He's the ringleader in Psalms 83, right? He the one behind the New Testament. Anyway, 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to the borders, to Israel. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a womb under thee. There is none understanding in him. Now here we go, right here. Shall I not in that day, the day of vengeance, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? See that? The wise men out of Edom, and the understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman. There go Teman, capital city. So you can't associate Basra and Teman with Israelites. So it says, and the mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of Mount Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So what we're looking at, the same thing he did with Saul. He told Saul to go kill all the Amalekites. So who is the Amalekites? Esau got a son called Amalek. That's his children, just like Jacob got children, 12 tribes, they call Israelites. These people call Amalekites. Let me show it to you, then I'll open it up with some comments. So go to Genesis 38. Genesis 38. And no, 36. And you see it's the descendants of Esau. And if you go down to verse 10, you're going to see where it says, these are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, the son of Adonai, the wife of Esau. This is a Horite woman. Like I said, that's why they follow the woman lineage, because this is how they got their height. And they got their mighty men from these women. Raul, the son of Besma, the wife of Esau. And the son of Eliphaz were Teman. They go Teman. That's why you got a capital city named Teman, because it's a son of Esau named Teman. Omar, then there goes Zephno. He's a mighty man. His mama was a giant. Gadim, Kinsna, and Tima was a concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Eliphaz and Amalek. That's who the Amalekites is. Sons of Amalek. So he sent Saul to kill all of them. So I don't give a damn if they're yellow, red, green, brown, whatever. The Most High is annihilating them. It's an order that came from heaven to annihilate them. Just that Saul didn't keep the commandment. And he saved Amalek and his wife. But the order, the commandment came down, the commandment came down from heaven to destroy them, utterly destroy them. So you can't bring up Teman and Basra in no good light. Because Most High, every time you see Teman and Basra, Most High bringing judgment. You got a problem with them. Okay.
Brother Leonard, does that also speak of that in Jeremiah? Is it Jeremiah?
Speak about what?
The God's message against Edom.
Yeah, that's in
That's it. Is that Jeremiah?
Ezekiel 35.
Ezekiel 35. Okay.
You gonna read some of it?
Yes, sir. Let me get there. Ezekiel 35.
Yeah,
I was in Jeremiah 49, God's message against Edom, but Ezekiel 35.
What does it say? What does it say? You gonna read some of that?
Yes, sir. Verse 7 says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. That was in Jeremiah chapter 49.
Right. So, like I said, every time you're dealing with anybody concerning Esau, you bringing judgment.
Okay.
You got a problem with him. So you go to Ezekiel 35. That sums it up.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel 35. Starting with verse 1, sir.
Right.
Ezekiel 35, judgment on Mount Seir. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Keep going, sir.
Yeah, just a couple more verses, but you can see every time you're dealing with Esau, we got judgment coming.
Yes, sir.
So,
wow.
so he brings what's when you understand and put that all in perspective right there. He's bringing Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, the one gonna knock off Esau. He's gonna destroy Mount Seir. That's how in 143 BC Esau had been. When we read this in Isaiah 63, he says, "Who is this on the move?" He's looking at them from heaven. They're on the move. He said, "Who is this going forth from Basra, leaving Basra because he didn't tore it up. Who was just going forth with dyed garments of red? That's Esau color. So they're on the move. So they ended up down where Esau was at. I mean, where the Israelites said. So when Nebuchadnezzar, when the Greeks came, the third beast came, Antiochus and them, and ran the Israelites out for good. They was right there, and they went in because they always believed the land belonged to them. When Zerubbabel and Jeshua and them came back from Babylon, they was right there, wanting them to help them build a temple. And they told them, no, you don't have nothing to do with this temple. This ain't got nothing to do with you. It's our responsibility. It's above your pay grade. So when the prince that shall come in Daniel 9:26, which is Antiochus, the Antichrist, when he came and finally destroyed the Israelites and ran them out, they came in. That was the opportunity. So that's who they're in 70 AD. That's why he got a problem with them. They never dealt with the anger that they had for their brother, Jacob. And that's why he got a problem with it.
Yes, sir, Mr. Leonard. You hear me?
What's that?
What they were saying, like what Michelle was saying, that it was an internet. She did everything on the internet. She didn't have any scriptures. And I like when the lady was speaking and she said, they look at my hair, my head was red, and I like it, you know? So she's proud to be an Edomite. And what Michelle said, that she said that what was it? She said how proud she is, and she ain't bringing no scriptures with it. And then she knows she doesn't even know what's really going on, because like Ezekiel, we just read in 35, and then you go to verse 5, because I have a perpetual hatred.
Right.
So she should know that, and you proud to be an Edomite. It's like it's proud, and you the wife of JC, what Michelle said, or you the wife of JC. So you already know where she coming from.
Yes,
And
sir.
you are. Right, you got it off. You got something? Go ahead. You had something?
Yes, sir, Brother Leonard. At the beginning of the video, did you catch when she spoke about her great grandfather and saying that she didn't know who he was, so she don't claim that heritage?
Right. Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me either when she said that.
Right. You are. That's the main part of tracing your lineage is the male.
Right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Exactly. And that's why I say, yeah, they do the same thing. Like I was talking about earlier on the news, they'll pull the wool over your head if you ain't studied up and got a good, right foundation. They're gonna pull the wool over your head and drag you off into ideology ass conversations, which ain't going nowhere. Like I said, JC already been trampled and stomped on. So why would I get into a sidebar conversation with you when I done broke down in the scriptures that he don't have nothing to do with Israel? If he ain't there in the beginning, then how in the hell he gonna be there in the end? And you still saying that he was there in the beginning, but we don't see nowhere in the scriptures where he there in the beginning. So how he gonna be there in the end?
Exactly. And when you are Edomite, you have no shame, because you know you're at the bottom of the ninth. Right. It's over. You already know that bloodline gone. So you got to do as much as you can right now.
Right. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what people don't understand. Look at the judge that made the decision at the international court. Redhead. Come on. And nobody looking at none of that. Stone redhead, pale. You can see her veins in her skin. She an Edomite. She tied to the same people over there that you putting this genocide claim on. She linked to them. She linked to the person you got on the wall in your house, JC. He's sitting there with red hair and blue eyes on your wall. Come on. And that's how they've been getting over on us all the time. It's Esau got 12 sons, just like Jacob had 12 sons.
And it's the same way when you Google, and you can just look up, like she was talking about, well, ruddy, you should see what ruddy means.
Right,
but if you look up ruddy duck and ruddy cow, you tell me how that look.
Exactly.
Facts. Just look up the animals of ruddy. You'll see it for yourself.
Exactly. And you can see it. Like I said, the Egyptians got it right there on the wall. They got, I mean, they wasn't just painting to be painting shit on the wall. They're showing you. This is how you got a man that look just blue black, and you got a man that's dark brown, burnished brass, just like the angels. So then you can't mix, you can't get no color and mix it from a genetic perspective and get that color. You can get all kind of other stuff, but you ain't gonna get that color because that's what the Creator made.
Yep. And ruddy is the ground that you dig. Go in your backyard and dig in your ground. That's ruddy. If you're dealing with good soil, that's ruddy.
Exactly. But you want to twist it around, and you see them. They like I said, they even learn from their oppressor. The same thing. You want to twist the scriptures around and try to make something work. No, man, you ain't talking to no nut bucket.
And she's sexy because she got red hair or reddish hair. Proud to be an Edomite. Proud of it.
Oh, yeah. Is there something? Anybody else got anything on that? I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to go in a little deeper with that because even like I said, when you start dealing with phenotypes and stuff like that, and you're dealing with you have a high level of discernment. I mean, you can just look at her countenance, like he was saying, Marco was saying, her delivery on certain things. It don't add up. And, it's like she got an overdose of testosterone. And that spirit is wreaking havoc in Israel right now. Okay. Is there something? Yeah. So nobody have anything else? If you don't have no more questions or comments, we're gonna close it out. Anybody else got anything on that?
Nope. Shalom, everybody. Shalom.
Okay. Yeah. So see everybody Tuesday for our advanced Bible study. It's 8 to 10 Central Time. Okay. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all Tuesday.
Shalom.
Okay.